All right, so we've already done the video where Alex discusses the ritual of the novel. So if you want to know about that, go back to the video before this one. Now we are talking about the movie adaptation. And Alex, can you tell us a little bit about how horrible this adaptation was?
Well, let's start with the inciting incident, shall we? Which really is the inciting incident of the movie. So they 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 call back to a scene in the book that is mentioned in passing in one of the discussions the characters have when they're um, bedding down in their tents and stuff, where they had been setting up to go to Sweden to do their hike. And in the movie, there's a sudden random fifth character that you've never seen or heard of if you've read the book. Also male, and his name escapes me right now. I think it was Rob. But yeah, him and Luke go to the convenience store next to the bar where they were all meeting up because they wanted to get their drink on some more. But the bar said you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So they were in there. There's some dudes holding up the joint, and Rob gets his head bashed in like an egg by a dude with a pipe. And Luke is just sort of huddled in the back after having, tried to signal Rob to, get the fuck over here. But, Rob failed to take the hint, and the characters proceed to blame him for Rob's
Hmm.
death for, like, most of the movie.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So anything else about this film that you were not happy with or just was particularly horrible?
They also dropped a lot of the subtext that was going on between Hutch and Luke. There was a lot of hints that Hutch might be bi, that there might be a
Uh,
little tension between them that wasn't really tension. It was like something unfulfilled that they should have tried to go after. Maybe if one of them didn't get his guts ripped out.
oh, yeah. Yeah, because I did not pick that up from the film.
Yeah.
So there was obviously a lot of interesting Norse mythology and Norse symbolism in the book. Is that also presented in the movie? And if so, do they change how it's presented?
Sort of. They keep the runes mostly like the runes that I saw. I was only able to identify like two, but runes are more your end and my SO's
I
thing.
recognized Othila or Othala, which has to do with like family and generations, and Ing or Ingwas, which is actually where my author name comes from, that has to do with like generations or generativity. So it has having to do with family and maybe within that cult or something. Seems like I also saw a Laguz rune, which has to do with like water, but it could also be seen as having to do with blood. You might see it that way.
Hmm. Um, there
And I should stipulate, I only read Elder Futhark runes. I don't read other types.
there doesn't seem to be much of the Odin symbolism for Luke in this one. Um they seem to have like sort of taken his character and sort of stripped it of what it had in the book, giving his lines and probably a lot of his other yeah, they did give a lot of his other like characterization, like the wounds and stuff that he got to the other two characters, Dom and Phil. And
That's too bad because I
yeah.
liked the Odin symbolism, and I really didn't see it much in the movie.
They also took out the Surtur and Fenris character, and
Mhm.
well, they took out Loki as well. I mean, apart from the one dude in the cult that they find who sort of looks like how Loki was described in the book.
Mhm.
Um, but he's never named, and he kind of gets a little
Mhm.
a little bit later. He never says a word either. But as far as Loki the god, they lean heavily into that in the movie. They say that when talking about the Moldor creature in the movie, one of the cultist ladies who seems to be someone that the cults sort of like kidnapped and took in, adopted. I guess there's a strange ritual for that, and roll credits.
Right.
uh, for that in the movie, where the creature, either adopts you or kills you.
Mm.
And she says that the creature is a Jotun, child of Loki.
Hmm.
Well, I believe she uses. Did she use child or son?
I don't remember.
I feel like she used son, which is very strange considering they still call the creature Moldor.
Hmm.
But yeah, they say that the creature is a child of Loki, a shapeshifter, and the creature is shown to shapeshift at one point in one of the scenes that they changed for the movie. They show Dom being killed by the creature, where they didn't in the book, and um, um, right before the creature shish kebabs him on a tree, um, Dom, the Mulder creature comes to Dom in the form of his wife.
Oh, interesting.
Um, there's still a lot of dudes that outnumber the women. The main four are still pretty much there despite their um, characterization being pretty stilted in the movie.
Yeah.
They're given much harder masculine representation, like the Hutch character even pulls a Brexit joke. Um,
That's right. Yeah.
Strangely, he's also they do a lot of not clothing swapping, but well, I guess it goes along with the characterization swapping. Like they gave Dom the glasses where Hutch
Uh,
had the glasses, and then um, Dom was supposed to be the fatter guy, and he's not really that fat in the movie. Um, but as far as the women, there's a few more. They don't have any lines, and they seem to have replaced the older lady that was
uh,
supposed to be in the cabin, as well as the three bandmates with this cult. There's a number of women in there. They don't speak. Neither do many of the cult men. It's just this one woman that Luke and his friends found the idea of in the woods, and she seems to have been adopted into the clan to give them fresh blood. And she's the only one who speaks directly to Moldor when she makes her appearance, and is then killed a little while after Dom, while Luke is making his escape, and or excuse me, she is the only death that he sees, I think, apart from Dom's.
so it sounds like the additional women are just kind of incidental to them making the cult bigger, not necessarily wanting to add more main female characters.
Yeah, and
And would you say they're also associated with nature in the movie, or less so?
less so. You do see the little dried up mummies, I believe, in the movie, if
Mhm.
I'm recalling correctly.
And did you are those? Can you remember if those are female or gender indeterminate?
I think a lot of them were female
Okay.
from like how their hairstyle was.
Mm.
I don't recall seeing the two little children. Yeah, that was what threw me in the movie was um in the primary position, like near, I guess, what you would call the head of the seating in the attic. What in the book were these two little mummified children, and instead there is an older adult. I'm not. I can't remember if it was a male or female.
And what about the monster? How was it depicted, and how is that different from the book?
It's a shape changer in the movie more so than in the book. In the book, it seems to not be present, which is what lends great amounts of horror to the horror novel. Is just that you don't know what you are dealing with. You don't know what this thing looks like. You just know that it eviscerates people and hangs them from trees like 50 feet in the air. But in the movie you see it right off. It's this weird eldritch horror sort of creature. They call it a Jotun. Um, they call it Moldor. Actually, I don't think they call it Moldor in the movie at all. I remember that I had to look that up on the internet
Hmm.
to find the name. But she she seems to have lost some of the connection with nature. Like when Luke first catches a glimpse of her, it's like this hand reaching from behind a tree,
Yeah, I remember that.
and like there's this sort of dramatic irony moment where the camera pans back and you see Luke and his friends hiking by, and she's just like there looming
Mm.
in the tree branches. And aside from that, um, I think the main moment of connection with nature that they had was again at the end of the book. Oh, they took out the visions too. Well, we
Yeah.
can get to that. Um, they yeah, the main moment where um the one lady who got adopted into the cult was explaining to Luke that, either you bow down to her and, you get sort of adopted in, or, she kills you.
Mm.
Um, but um, there's this moment where um, after the car chase thing, uh, both Luke and Mulder are still alive, and Mulder is trying to make Luke bow down to her, and he seems to like give in for a minute before like going in and stabbing her in the face.
Mm. So you mentioned having something to say about dreams and visions in the movie as opposed to the book.
Yeah, they only show the one instance of the dreams being a thing, and that's in the same spot as it was in the book. They've just bedded down in the cabin for the night, and then all of a sudden, like Luke's waking up, hears screaming, and he finds that branches are jabbing him in the chest. You don't really get the same context as you did from the like second person perspective dream
Right.
that you got in the book, where it was clear that some other entity was starting to influence them, was trying to pick their brains, and it seems to take something out of the movie, like um there's this whole awkward, more dramatic irony, sort of terror for the
Right.
characters in the movie, that the viewers know that there's something following the characters, but it's an external. It's all an external threat in the movie that has to be overcome, whether it's this creature or the cult that follows her. Whereas in the book, there's also this internal dynamic that Luke is having to go through with this creature that has these children that are both communicating with him in a way.
Mm.
And it seems like the book deals more with how he has to figure that out, how he has to figure out a way to overcome all this weirdness that he's going through. And he has to, in the book, dig into himself and find something to latch onto to get himself out of this situation alive.
Mm.
He has to find that inner strength and do his coming of age, where in the movie it's my friends are dead, all my friends are dead, and there's all these crazy cultists coming after me, and
Mm. And I saw the movie. I didn't read the book. I was disappointed in the movie, and some of the things that you described in the book, I think they were missing, and I didn't realize they were missing, and maybe that's why I was a little disappointed. Yeah, I wish they would have been more faithful to the book, but I often feel that way with movies. All right, that is our discussion of The Ritual, the book and the movie. Thank you so much for listening. Please, won't you like, comment, share, subscribe? It only takes a couple of minutes and it really helps our channel. So thank you so much, and everyone have a fantastic night. And if I don't see you, well, we will see you before then because we'll be discussing The Witch. So stay tuned for that.